We're fooling our culture into thinking that we've come so far. Why? Because we're not hearing about it. That is by far the biggest problem. I'm putting together a book right now that's going to be a playbook for women, that's going to help them walk through this process, and it's also going to share stories from these thousands of women that I've heard from. But I would say that we have to make a pledge to one another, that we are going to stand up and speak up. Because if only one or two of us say, yeah, we're going to do that, it's not going to evoke change. We have to all agree that we're going to do that. And we have to make a pledge as parents that we are going to raise our children, our boys and our girls, respecting gender in the same way, equal respect for men and women, because that's where it starts. The role modeling, the watching of the parents and how they treat one another, and the messaging that we're giving to our kids, with the hope that in the next generation, we start to move on out the predators. And we start moving in the people that get it.
Nancy, whatever you were going to say, but also add on that when, in the new lawsuit that you've just filed against Roger Ailes for Julie Roginski,
yes,
part of the lawsuit is that she claims that she was penalized because she wouldn't support Ailes against Gretchen.
Right. So she wouldn't get on Team Roger and trash Gretchen the way some on-air personalities, not to mention Geraldo, but some on-air personalities did. And she refused to get on Team Roger and talk about what a great guy he was, and she was retaliated against. Now, that is very pernicious culture. But unfortunately, regarding mandatory arbitration, President Obama had just signed a regulation that went into effect in November that banned any company that did business with the federal government from requiring its employees to engage in mandatory arbitration, taking away your Seventh Amendment right, which is a way to keep harassers in the workplace because women don't know other women have complained. It's a terrible, terrible system. One of President Trump's first acts was to eviscerate that law. That law doesn't exist anymore. We had it for like 2 months.
How could he eviscerate a law?
He signed an executive order. It was an executive order from President Obama, and he tore it up.
It wasn't a law.
His first week. We have many laws that are pending. Gretchen was in Washington a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, had a press conference with senators and members of the House who are trying to reintroduce their laws to get rid of forced arbitration, which has become part of my advocacy movement now. We need to make it a bipartisan effort, though, so everyone please call your members of Congress, because, listen, when somebody's going to sexually harass you, they don't ask you beforehand, are you a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent? No, they just harass you. And this should not be a political issue. This should be something that every single person cares about. I don't care what political party you're in. We all have children, or we have nieces or nephews or grandkids, or we have friends who have kids. And that's why we should care about this issue.